Latin America accounts for about 13% of Earth's land surface. That means that there is a great geographic and biological diversity that the region can offer. Of course, by geographic I mean copper mines, silver mines, lithium mines, but also of course oil fields, lots of land for agriculture, lots of land for cattle raising, and all of that allow Latin America to be an important player in these industries. Being so close to the US also allows Latin America to be proactive and active in the manufacturing sector. Latin America is also the home of some 150 million people. This population is spread around 20 countries. Combined, they produce some $6 trillion in economic value. That implies that Latin America is the third largest economy worldwide, just below the US and China. In addition, Latin America is also the combination of a very interesting cultural heritage. It's not only the indigenous civilization, let's say the Aztecs, the Maya, and the Incas, but also the Western civilization, Spanish, Portuguese, and French. To assign the resource in Latin America, they need to be aware of several things. First of all, the region is very diversified in terms of political agendas and political strategies going forward. Second, different countries have different exposures to currencies, and investors need to be aware that the exposure they have in one country will be very different to the exposure they have in another country vis-a-vis the US dollar. Even finances between some of these countries have very different characteristics. Some of these countries have not only leverage, but leverage in other currencies than their own currency. I think the main challenge in Latin America has to do with achieving full growth potential. So far, Latin America has been growing, but I think definitely that the region has a lot more room to grow and to grow faster. I think in Latin America there is a good opportunity to generate a business-friendly environment, and to achieve that, the local governments have to apply checks and balances so that the rule of law is obeyed. They will also have to attract foreign direct investment and also foster local investments and domestic consumption going forward. Several of the Latin American countries rank among the highest in terms of work hours spent, but unfortunately these same countries rank among the lowest in terms of salaries paid. That implies that there is a very interesting opportunity to increase not only the education of the people, but also the productivity of the people. Clearly, education from now on in Latin America needs to be targeting value-added jobs, not only simple manufacturing, but jobs where really the person can add value. Our research team has provided some numbers of the education market going forward. It implies around $10 trillion of potential value by 2030. Today, Latin America is ahead of its peers with respect to the use of clean energy. Some 50% of the electricity needs in Latin America are provided by hydropower. That implies that both solar and wind energy have a lot of room to grow if the local governments allow for private investments to flow into these industries. Latin America is one of the most urbanized regions across the world. Some 80% of people live in cities, and of course this amount of people generates problems. In the future, we think that Latin America, as many other cities in the world, will have to compete to gain the highest educated people, the more productive people, and that means offering not only mobility, but also an environment of low pollution, low noise, and a welcoming environment for future generations.